You teach a child to read, and she or he will be able to pass a literacy test. George W. Bush.
Good to see you, Perry the Platypus. I invented the eye fogginator. It will temporarily blur the vision of whoever it hits. It will then force people to go out and get their eyes checked. And then I'll get even more money, which I could then spend on evil. Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz.
I've seen enough of Bossing say, and I can't even see. Toph Beifong, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Good morning. My name is Sungmin Cho. I am a sixth form boarder from Westfield, Massachusetts. So it turns out I failed a few tests as a kid. 4 visual refraction examinations eventually confirmed my optical dysfunction. On Friday nights, I go and look at the moon. And soon enough, I envy the ravens perched in the branches. They see a moon with definition. I see a funny smudge. When I chat in dim light, I feel a flood of frustration. When it's too dark, I have trouble recognizing the color of a person's eyes. Even with powerful lenses, I trip on my runs, slam into the trunks of trees I was unable to unblur. The Social Security Administration has a name for people like me. Legally blind. Now, I think each American has their distinct reasons for disliking the government. Conservatives, this, liberals, that, taxes up and taxes down, wars here and wars there. I too have my problems with the federal government. The law says I have a disability. And does that upset me? Yes. Still, I'm gonna let the government be right so I can introduce you to a crippled day in the life. Like all of you, I woke up this morning. But did I know it was morning? Why is that funny? No, I didn't know it was morning. Line, color, brilliance, shapes, and silhouettes all dissolve after the second inch. So obviously I put on a pair of glasses, and this clears the haze, and for the most part, fixes the world. Fantastic. 8:20 rolls around, start of the first block. Okay, my phone rings. That's my Advil alarm. It's time to pop a few blue candies into my system. The stronger the prescription, the stronger the headache. That's a linear relationship. Go math. Now, don't be mistaken, please. This is normal. This is routine. Every day under the sun has been like this for me. Every day since 2008, when I wore my first pair of glasses. Since then, I've been a major source of revenue for Boston Children's Hospital. I guess you could say I saved them from the financial crisis. In that decade, 22 pairs of glasses have called my nightstand home. Each is special. Round tortoiseshell and frameless titanium, 9.5 diopters for sphere power, and 4 diopters for cylinder power. 10 years has also been enough time to memorize the possible effects of pathologic myopia. glaucoma, cataracts, retinal tears, maculopathy. Pretty awesome stuff. So as a toddler, I imagined my myopia as a thief, a foe determined to steal the detail out of my life. I knew the narrative was bleak, but I considered it accurate. I figured loss told the whole story. After all, school was really hard. I would have trouble with reading. The ink was hazy, the lines blurred together. The arching contour of a number in math, the descending swell of a letter in history. Each were a roller coaster of nausea. Looking back, at some point in my early education, I could have just stopped, never read a book again. To read or not to read, that was the question. To find an answer, I started a habit. I began to read twice. Any writing that came into my hands, book, pamphlet, textbook, homework, I did it twice. The first scan was disorienting, too blurry for comfort. Only the second read would bring the clarity I wanted. By reading twice, squinting and straining my foggy eyes back across the page, I found different truths in the same set of words, explored the contradictions I had originally missed, began to wholly appreciate the subtler interpretations that are never as apparent on an initial scan. A first read, Holden Caulfield was a convincing contrarian, a thinker. A second read in Holden Caulfield was just a hater. At first glance, the Targaryens are weird. Another look, the Targaryens are ambitious. At first glance, Gatsby is desperate. Another look, and I was wrong. Gatsby is determined. Reading twice, I was like a sleuth, catching sly actors hiding in the margins and ruminating on the fragments of themes that I sensed were dancing in concert with the pages that had preceded and followed. A second read also meant the chance to understand ideas not only from start to finish or from top to bottom, but backwards from end to beginning, even right to left. By knowing the writing in both directions, all parts of a book could be brought to life simultaneously. To move out of chronology and into a map in the mind, every point in a line of reasoning could be quickly grouped or combined, even separated, seamlessly generating new views and surprising insights. A back to front read of Curious George, and I began to doubt his curiosity. Curious George is not curious. Curious George is just careless. But I'm not sure I would have ever thought to give reading such thorough treatment or patient attention were I born with perfect sight. Say, if the world was effortlessly crisp, there would be no reason to ever think to look again. Even the qualities that society thinks would confer an absolute advantage, like flawless vision, leave room for Achilles' heels. The notion is counterintuitive, but the notion is true. Disadvantages can nurture strength and vigilance. Advantages can encourage complacency, maybe even weakness. So I began to see myopia through a different pair of lenses, not as a heartbreaking handicap, but as a good adversity. Maybe myopia was the best lesson I had in grit and in grace. So much of what we consider common sense is wrong. Truth is elusive. Truth is rare, not common. So take a moment today and actually think hard. Inspect a flaw that you would say defines a part of your identity. And for a moment, remove the regret and the hate and the frustration and the what-ifs. And for a moment, consider and count the talents and the gifts, the flexibility and the resilience that your flaws have inspired. Over there on the stool is a pair of glasses from a few years ago. The prescription is lighter than what I usually wear, but if you're interested, please try them on. See for yourself that the world is never as it seems. Thank you.